Hi everyone, this is Sarfraz from Aristotle Prep, and we are looking at question 94 from the OG13 Critical Reasoning chapter. Now, before we get started with this question, um, this is probably the only official question I have come across which I find dubious. In the sense, I'm not very convinced of the correct answer. I mean, there is no better option for sure than the one, even I selected that particular option because I couldn't find a better one and I got it right. But I don't think it is a very good option or a very good answer because in critical reasoning and generally on the GMAT and reading comprehension also, we always tell our students not to use your own information or outside information or your own knowledge to answer questions. Everything should be answered based on something or the other which is written in the argument or in the RC passage. Whereas this is one question where after we've arrived at the correct answer, you will see it requires our use of outside knowledge as to how builders construct buildings or what is the logical way to construct buildings, which is why I'm not very happy with this question. Had this not been an official question, had somebody showed this to me without telling me that this is an OG question, I would have immediately said this is not something you will see on the GMAT. But this is an OG question, so one can't help it. I hope they notice it and I hope they remove it from whenever the next edition comes out because this is not a very good question. Having said that, let's read the stimulus. As a construction material, bamboo is as strong as steel and sturdier than concrete. Moreover, in tropical areas, bamboo is much less expensive construction material than either steel or concrete and is always readily available. Okay, so bamboo is very good. In tropical areas, therefore, building with bamboo makes better economic sense than building with steel or concrete, except where land values are high. That's interesting. So the whole argument is praising bamboos, and it says it's a good idea to use bamboo instead of steel and concrete in constructing buildings, except in places where land values are high. The question will most definitely ask you to explain why is this the case? Why should I not use bamboos in places where land values are high? That is the question stem. Which of the following most helps to explain the exception noted above? So let's go through the options. Then A says, buildings constructed of bamboo are less likely to suffer earthquake damage than are steel and concrete buildings. All the more reason then to use bamboos. So why are bamboos not being used in these high land value areas? B says, bamboo is unsuitable as a building material for multi-story buildings. Now, when I read it, honestly, I held on to it. But typically when a student reads this option, he would eliminate it because what connection do multi-story buildings have with our argument? But just hold on to it. I'll come back to it. C says, in order to protect it from being damaged by termites and beetles, bamboo must be soaked at some expense in a preservative. That's okay, but it also has benefits, right? It is, I think, cheaper and sturdier than steel and concrete, so why not use it? D says, in some tropical areas, bamboo is used to make the scaffolding that is used during large construction projects. Tells you nothing about why it's not a good idea to use bamboo. E says, bamboo growing in an area where land values are increasing is often cleared to make way for construction. Well, that's okay, the bamboo is being cut to construct buildings over there, but why is the bamboo not being used for the construction, given how good, how excellent qualities the bamboo has? So E doesn't tell you that. So typically what happens is students go through all the options and they like nothing. Kind of also happened with me, though I was holding on to one option which I'm going to go back to now, which is B, which says bamboo is unsuitable as a building material for multi-story buildings. Now if I use my common sense or my knowledge of construction, I know if the land values are high, nobody will build a bungalow over there. They will typically build a multi-story building to get the maximum bang for their buck. So that is the connection between high land values and multi-story buildings. And then B makes perfect sense because bamboo is unsuitable as a building material for multi-story buildings. Multi-story buildings will most likely be built on areas where land values are high. So bamboo can't be used in areas where land values are high. Makes sense, but the only problem is I am not supposed to use my knowledge of the fact that if the land value is high, then most likely a multi-story building will be built over there. I shouldn't be having to use that. Ideally, the argument should have said this. which is exactly why I said that I don't like the argument. B is the best option from the lot, but it is a poor question. Okay, on a difficulty scale of 1 to 5, I would definitely give this one a 4.5 because it's very difficult to arrive at the correct answer. Have a nice day.